Life in Nazi Germany, Part 1. The Reichstag Fire. 27th of February 1933. A communist supporter, Van der Loop, was caught burning down the Reichstag building and executed promptly. The effects of this was that Hitler could persuade Hindenburg that the fire was all part of a communist conspiracy. Hindenburg passed a Reichstag fire decree, which meant that Hitler could legally use decrees to govern Germany. The decree suspended freedom of speech and privacy from the Constitution. As a result, Hitler was able to imprison political opponents and anyone who opposed the Nazi Party publicly, and property could be confiscated. The Enabling Act was passed on 23rd of March 1933. To gain votes for the Enabling Act, Hitler used the Reichstag fire decree to ban the communists from taking up the seats in the Reichstag, and an election was held again in March 1933. Since the communists were unable to take up their seats, and the SA and the SS was lined up along the outskirts of the election, many were intimidated by the SA and the SS, which gave Hitler's policy, the Enabling Act, to an overwhelming victory. The effects of this was that Hitler was now able to pass laws without the consent of the Reichstag. Hitler used these powers to ban trade unions, as strikes could be used to attack the Nazi government. Hitler also banned other political parties, as a law was passed which removed all opposition to the Nazis and made the Nazis themselves the sole governors of the nation. Local governments were weakened and the central government in Berlin was strengthened, as Hitler appointed governors to run every region of the country. As a result, the Enabling Act marked the end of democracy, as Hitler made the laws himself and turned Germany into a totalitarian state. The Night of the Long Knives. It occurred on the 30th of June 1934. The Night of the Long Knives occurred because Hitler feared Ernst Röhm. Ernst Röhm combined the SA with the Stahlhelm, which gave the SA the combined number of 3 million members. Many were loyal to Ernst Röhm, and he publicly opposed Hitler, criticizing Hitler's ignorance of the working class. As a result, Ernst Röhm was a very clear challenger to Hitler's throne. On the 30th of June 1934, Röhm and several senior SA officers were arrested, imprisoned, and shot by the SS. Over a period of 4 days, 400 people, including 150 SA senior members, were shot without trial. Hitler claimed the deaths were for the interests of Germany. The effects of this was that the SA no longer rivaled the Nazi Party, it was now firmly under Hitler's control, and that the SA was only muscle for the Nazi Party. The Nazi police state was maintained with two organizations, the SS and the Gestapo. The SS was set up in 1929 to act as the Nazi Party's own private police force. They were totally loyal to only Hitler, and they also carried out the policy of racial purification. The Gestapo, however, was set up in 1933, and they were the non-uniform secret police force of the Nazis. They could not be distinguished from the general public and arrested people who acted against or spoke out against Nazi ideas. By 1939, 150,000 people were in prison for simply disapproving of the Nazis. Opposition to the Nazis were also limited to censorship and propaganda. Government posters still advertised Nazi ideas, and parades and rallies were held. New methods of propaganda, however, was also being used. Radio. All radio stations were put under Nazi control, and Hitler was frequently broadcasted. Radios were mass-produced and placed in factories, schools, cafes, and streets. By the 1930s, there were more radios per person in Germany than anywhere else in Europe. Cinema and theater. Theater tickets were made very cheap in the Nazis' favorite plays about German history, as they conveyed Nazi ideas. Films were also shown with a newsreel of Germany's achievements. Some films had heavy political Nazi ideas, and some films were only approved by the Nazis. However, censorship was also used. Newspapers had to print only news that the Nazis wanted to publicize, and journalists were only given information that the government gave them. Opposing newspapers were punished and shut down. Universities needed lecturers and academics to agree with Nazi views, or else they would be dismissed. By 1938, 3,000 academics were dismissed. The arts were also very heavily censored. All creative occupations needed to agree with Nazi ideas, and those who were disapproved by the Nazis could not work. Books were banned and burned by the Nazis, as the Nazis thought they were unacceptable. Music was also censored, especially from subhuman races such as jazz music, which was from black people, and musicians such as Jewish musicians were censored. Almost all modern art was censored, and the Nazis only approved of heroic German art. The 1936 Berlin Olympics hosted 110,000 people and was faultlessly organized, and Germany won the most medals, gold, silver, and bronze, which promoted Aryan superiority. Hitler himself was a key figure of propaganda. He personified the Nazis and shown as a strong and decisive figure of Germany, while also being shown as a caring father figure.